Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Chronicle video. And today we are here to talk about the brand new game mode, the Abyssal Exploration, which is of course currently going through a beta version. Now, this beta version is basically a testing ground for not only them, but for us as well to understand what the game mode is like, how we feel about the game mode, and generally what can be improved about the game mode. And they will be taking feedback for this game mode as well. So this video, I want to break down the things I like, the things I dislike, obviously talking about what the game mode is, how the game mode is structured as well, and generally giving guys my verdict on what I think about this game mode. And then in a future video, probably not this week, but maybe sometime next week, I will be responding to the survey once I've, had my time with this game mode in a little bit more detail. I've, tried out some different tactics, some different things as well that I want to try out in this game mode. I will be answering the survey that will be dropping on the 12th of July, which is actually tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. At the time of this recording, that would be tomorrow. By the time you're watching this, maybe the survey is already up. I don't know. But on their Twitter account, they said that they will be posting a survey tomorrow. So, of course, if you guys are interested in giving your feedback, make sure you guys answer that survey, because one of the good things about the Danmachi Chronicle dev team, a lot of people may feel like, based on other gacha games, they don't listen, the feedback form is just there to be there. No, in the case of the Dancore dev team, they actually do read our feedback, and a lot of the times they actually do make changes or add stuff accordingly, the things that we want to see in the game. The reason why we have Abyssal Exploration in the first place is because of a request we've been making for a very long time to add a form of replayable content. So please, if you have any suggestions or any changes you want to introduce into the survey, or introduce into the game mode, I should say, please answer the survey. It would make a world of a difference. It really will make a world of a difference. As I said, I will be answering the survey probably sometime next week. And so what I want you guys to do in this video, and this is the point I'm coming to basically, is if you guys have any suggestions, maybe things I've not mentioned in this video, maybe things I have mentioned in this video, but you want some tweaking there, put it in the comment section of this video, because for the next video, for the survey video that I will be making, where I'll go over what I'm writing down in the survey, I will be taking your guys' information as well, and I will be going through your guys' comments as well, saying what I think is right, what I don't think should be changed, and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that video. And yeah, like I said, leave it in the comment section down below. What changes would you guys like to see? And if you guys agree with the changes I'm going to be making in this video, or disagree with them, let me know in the comments, of course. And of course, if you guys want to enjoy this video, remember to leave a like down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Now, if you haven't played this game mode yet, this game mode is basically a full-blown dungeon exploration game mode, right? There's no two ways to put it. You spend 120 stamina, which I'll talk about in a moment. There are 5 floors, and you explore all 5 floors. The thing is, there is a linear path. There is an end goal. You have to obviously get from floor 1 to floor 5 and reach the end of floor 5. But in between, you can do whatever you want. You can go explore, you can go fight multiple enemies, you can only fight minimum enemies, you can fight maximum amount of enemies. Your choice. Obviously, the more enemies you fight, the more rewards you get. The less enemies you fight, the less rewards you get. So this game mode is pretty interesting in that regards, in that you have the option to do whatever you want. It is exactly what we wanted to see as well from a dungeon exploration game mode in any of these Danmachi gacha games. And the unfortunate thing I would say about this exploration mode is that it does take time. It's not as simple as you're done in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. No, it is a slog. With the team that they've given us, and remember that in the beta version, they give us a fixed party. In the final version, we will be able to choose the team we want to, which of course will make things go by way quicker. With this team, an average run takes about 30 minutes, give or take. It takes about 30 minutes. So it is slow in that regards. But I think, of course, once we have our own teams, we're going to be able to run level 80 units, the right scene cards, the right battle items, stuff like that. You will be able to finish this event off in still about 15-20 minutes, I would say. So it is a long event. It may feel like a slog, but the thing is, right, you can pause whenever you want. You can retire and take whatever materials you farmed so far out of the stage as well. The only time you can't take any materials out of the stage is if you lose entirely, like as in you lose all your characters, you're down to 0 HP and stuff like that. So in that regards, it's pretty good as well. So it gives you the freedom to decide whether or not you want to pause the game, you want to retire and take whatever you have and stuff like that. I think that is one of the best things about it. There is also an environmental effect as well, which deals a debuff or potentially in the future a buff as well. And this season, the one that they've given us for this specific patch basically, and this beta version, is that there's a reduction in your endurance stat by 50%. So it is something that will deal a little bit of a negative effect to you and hurt you a little bit. But the thing is, right, and this is the thing, this team is definitely a more defensive team as well. No scene cards on the attacker unit that are really good in the sense of high level ones and stuff, right? Everything is in special move damage basically with one normal attack damage. I think that one is, if I recall correctly. No battle item here. Philvis and Ahmed are being run. They're a little bit more defensive as well. Well, this Ahmed is also built more defensive, I should say, as well. So inherently it's a slow team, but it is a team that will survive. And in this situation, a lot of people have been able to auto this run as well. They've been able to auto this stage because of the fact that it's such a defensive team as well. So you're able to get away with shit quite easily. I'm gonna let it auto in the background while we're here as well. Let it play as well. You can see how Philvis works as well if you want to as well, for the auto side as well. But the thing is, right, it is quite interesting as to what the debuffs are. I do believe, and this is where my first recommendation would be, is I think the debuffs need to do a little bit more. I think if I were to run a full-on proper team, right? Let's say I run my, water team, my actual water team, right? My actual water team would probably consist of Water Bell, Water Lafia, and probably Chloe, if I had Chloe, of course. If I don't have Chloe, I'd probably run something like maybe like a Lily or even a potential. I would probably run Philvis, but a more offensive version of Philvis. So more offensive scene cards, a more offensive battle item, stuff like that. That's probably what I would run. Now, obviously, that would still probably survive quite easily, but the way to probably debuff us a little bit more, in my opinion, and I think this would work as well, is go for a harsher debuffs, I would say. Go for potentially things like reduces healing prowess, maybe reduces maybe reduces effectively the amount of strength you have or amount of magic you have. So maybe if you reduce the amount of magic you have, you work on increasing your strength instead, so that basically it'll make up for the lost magic potentially, right? Because if only one attack stat is lowered, you can work on the other side of the attack stat, which is, of course, if it's magic that's being lowered, work on your strength. That way you can work on, making and manipulating the scene cards a little bit better, and you have to be a little bit more tactical in how you use your scene cards and stuff. I think that would be pretty cool and pretty interesting as well. Something for them to consider in the future. But again, this is something for the future more so than anything else, right? Overall, I will say the game mode is fun. I'll still maintain this. Yes, it may be a slog for some people, but genuinely it gives you that dungeon exploration feeling. I can't tell you how many times, if I wasn't paying attention to the arrow, which I was trying to avoid entirely as well at times, right? There's an arrow that points in the general direction you're supposed to go in underneath your character, right? So that way it's still a little bit linear, but genuinely you get lost. You can easily get lost in the game mode, and you're going off and fighting these different enemies, but you're not reaching the portal, basically. The portal being the stairs to the next floor, which I think is very, like, it is authentic. And it's crazy that, they finally introduced a game mode that we've been begging for in the likes of Danmimo, that we were hoping we would see in Danmachi Infinite Combat, the actual console game. Something we're hoping for in the upcoming Danmachi console game as well, in Full End of Water and Light, right, is the ability to explore the dungeon, the ability to fight monsters, challenge ourselves, and stuff like that, which I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we have this. Yes, it takes time, but that is dungeon exploration, right? Like, I mean, I get it, like, oh, you know, they should respect our time and stuff like that, but you don't even need to do this stage technically multiple times. If you want the base rewards, which is like 500 Selas, some books and stuff, right? You just need to clear it once. And the thing is, you immediately get those rewards if you just retire immediately. The moment you retire, you will get the rewards, and you'll also be able to get the base rewards as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, of course, you also get some really nice rewards as well in the actual like event itself as well with the earrings. The earrings are pretty cool. They have the ability to give you like extra movement speed, which is something we've not seen that much of in you know, in units, right? Like for or in battle items or scene cards even. Like the only time we've seen it is in that battle arena. This as well. Okay, we hit the portal, by the way. I know it looked a little bit weird that we moved out of the way, but we did hit the portal. But we've gotten some really good battle items as we got a really good battle item here. Movement speed, just in the passive itself, is not something we've seen. The only time we've seen it in any ability was the battle arena active skill item, and that's only a limited amount of times you can use it. So that is pretty good. A lot of people were saying that they don't find it very good because why movement speed? But movement speed is actually going to be pretty insane if you're doing you know, quick based content like ranking battle, like also if you're using a speed unit and you want to give them a little bit more speed to be able to attack more often, that'll also help. Movement speed is pretty integral, and it is super nice to have. So I would highly recommend it, and I think they need to, if they keep working on more and more you know, stuff like this, it'll be really good. More and better equips like this. I think that'll be fantastic. The other thing you get as well from this game mode is books. You do get some books as well. You get a good amount of Valis as well. Like, I think if you do the entire thing on average, you're getting about 120k Valis as well regularly, which is really good. But along with that, if you get a rare drop, and if you get a rare drop for the Falna side, you get all encompassing Falna. Now, while that is amazing and actually help out a lot of the starting player base, right? Very much so. One of the things I will say about the rewards is that while it is nice now, and I think for the first level couple of floors, it's really good. I think when we do get harder floors, right? When we get higher floors, I think they need to consider adding things like Mystical Fauna, adding things like, you know, higher level of books. But the other thing I would love for them to add, and this is my main want, with us getting, you know, the a way for us to effectively farm gear, and the reason why we want to farm gear, right? We need to start adding Goibinu locks. The lock of trainings have been there for so long, for so goddamn long, and they've not figured out where to add it into the game. There are a couple of items in this game that they simply have not added a way for us to farm and get, right? So first being the lock of trainings, that's been in the game since the very beginning. And then recently they added a Rainbow Bond fragments to the game as well. So if you click on Rainbow Bond, the Rainbow Bonds, and you click on how to obtain as well for them, right? They show there's a way for you to basically get these fragments. Now there is no way in the game currently to get them, but there is a way to basically get multiple fragments to get to one Rainbow Bond. Why not consider adding it in this game mode? While it may be like easy-ish to you know, farm this game mode, right? Make it an ultra rare drop. Make it like something you want to keep farming for, and that way it's a free-to-play way for people to farm it. And if you make it an ultra rare drop, it can be something like, I don't know, 0.001% drop rate. Something like that, because it is a free dupe at the end of the day, right? You're getting a free dupe. You need, obviously you need 100 of those fragments to actually get one dupe, so it's going to be a long process, but it's still a free dupe you're giving out for free. So maybe not, maybe it can be a first time reward, I don't know. But adding the stuff that's not available in the game right now into this game mode will help out massively. If we're farming equips, right, we need to find a way to obviously save our, you know, characteristics. So for me, the priority is in this game mode, what they need to introduce more so than anything else, it has to be the Goibinu locks or locks of trading. That is the most important thing that they need to add into this game mode. And for me, I think that would be my biggest change. My biggest change would be that. The other thing I would also change in this game mode, or add to this game mode, I should say, is I would say that give us UI options a little bit more, right? Obviously, if we can disable the UI, that would be fantastic as well, right? So let me disable the minimap, let me disable the arrow as well. But on the other hand as well, I would also like people to be able to have a minimap as well, because I got some complaints on stream last night that there was no minimap, and oh, they would have preferred having a minimap for this one right now because they would like to know where they're going and stuff. And they don't necessarily have the time to, you know, just stick around and get lost again and again and again. And while the arrow helps, having a minimap would be also a little bit better, especially with sometimes the cave-ins happening, which, by the way, something I noticed on stream yesterday, which I really liked and I thought was amazing, right, was I'd gone through one way once, but then afterwards when I tried going through the same way, there was a cave-in. Like, generally rocks were blocking my way and stuff, which makes things super interesting in that regards. But again, it allows, again, that's the reason probably why it would be nice if players had a minimap or something to know if an area is going to be disabled and stuff like that. That will be super handy in that regards. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Obviously, I think what will happen in the future, especially as time goes on, because the maps are more or less the same, they don't change at all actually. I think there will be a community or group of people that will inevitably come and probably have like the maps prepared from ahead of time, basically, you know, with people, you know, having everything ready to go effectively in terms of like, oh, this is where this item is and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be too problematic in the long term because people will find a way. But if the game can obviously give us an option to obviously have like, you know, if the game can give us an option to basically have like a mini map up and stuff, right, that will be super nice as well. That will be super, super nice. The other thing I would say is they need to increase the drops. 120 stamina is a hefty amount, and we'll talk about that again, like I said, in just a moment. But along with that as well, you're spending about 30 minutes of your time, right? I should not be having a run where I go without a UR earring. And that's what happened last night. I literally had, like, my first run, I got a UR earring. Amazing. Absolutely fantastic, right? Second run, not a single UR drop. Not a single one. And I'd spent 30 minutes on that run because I was doing a little bit more exploration and I was fighting more enemies and I didn't get any. So I would say the frequency of rare drops should increase, but I think they should also add another tier above that and add an ultra rare drop tier. I think the battle items should remain at the rare drop tier as well as the all-encompassing fauna, but maybe mystical fauna, the likes of the locks of training, maybe the rainbow born fragments, that can go to like an ultra rare drop tier basically. That can be the highest rarity drop you can get basically, and it'll give you the most rewards effectively. I think that would be pretty interesting, and that would be pretty pog as well, and I think it will help a lot. It would genuinely help massively in my opinion if they were to add something like that, because effectively then what's going to happen is you are going to basically be able to, well, not only farm more, but you will also be rewarded for spending your time on the game mode, right? And that's the thing, that's the main thing, is you need to reward people for playing the game mode, right? And if there are times where you go without the, you know, drop, it becomes a little bit like, well, why did I invest so much time into the game mode? You know what I mean? Why did I put this much time into playing this game mode when I could have done something else entirely with my time and, you know, got something more out of my day? I think they definitely need to increase the rare drop boosts for sure. Now, the other thing I will say, and this is what I've been alluding to as well a little bit here and there with the stamina, is that it's a bit too much. 120 is good. Sure, I mean, we get a lot of stamina nowadays. I'm like, my daily stamina recovery is always like 500, 600 stamina per day at least, right? If not more. So I could easily do like 5-6 runs of this game mode if I really wanted to. And we get a lot of potato poppers as well, so it's not really an issue. But still, if you're a starting player, you're unlikely to, you know, be able to do it with how much stamina is required. And I know, again, this is something I've said about Uncharted Battlefield, and I'll say it for this game mode as well, is that it's probably not going to be a game mode for new players necessarily. Maybe one of the earlier floors will be like a floor like this, basically. But it's not necessarily going to be a game mode for early players. I don't think so. I think what they're also doing here, and the reason why we have a test team as well, by the way, is so that they can gauge what the difficulty should be as well. They'll see from our runs, our content and stuff like that, our images and stuff, what we post on social media and stuff, they'll see all of that and they'll be able to tell, okay, is it actually difficult enough? Should we make it harder? Should we make it easier and stuff like that? They'll figure it out inevitably, right? And they'll make changes accordingly when the time is right. And so in that sense, I will say this. It might be hard when the time comes. So it may not be for new players, but nonetheless, the stamina cost is a little bit too high. I think even if they reduce it by like 20 or 30, 40, make it 80 stamina, 100 stamina, I think that'll be fine. Yes, it does make a big difference, you know, in the grand scheme of things. You may believe that. But that's 20 stamina saved per run. Long term, that's a huge amount. And I think that'll definitely help the player base as well a little bit more. Because people were also questioning, like, it's a beta version. Why is it costing so much stamina when, you know, we're just starting the game mode out for the very first time and stuff, right? And I can see where they're coming from. But again, this is them gauging like how much stamina is required, how much stamina is needed. I mean, we said the same thing technically about Uncharted Battlefield as well when it first came out. We were like, well, it costs quite a lot of stamina to go through all the stages, but of course in the end you only needed to use like 60 stamina to do the, you know, the last stage to farm the battle item, right? But here you're gonna farm 120 stamina, and like I said earlier on, if there are times where you're not getting the UR drop, it's going to stink a little bit. It's gonna sting massively, so even, to be honest. So in that sense, it's going to be pretty frustrating. One of the things they definitely need to do is fix the autopath thing as well, because like I showed you guys there, for some reason there are some areas that just still stay blocked off for some reason, and the auto goes towards there. So instead you have to find another way through the area. I'm gonna just try and get to the end as well on my own here basically, but obviously now that I'm taking control, it's gonna be a little bit faster as well. It's gonna be a little bit more smoother as well and whatnot. But either way, so like I said, I think if they do increase the drops, they do reduce the stamina consumption as well, I think overall it's going to be pretty darn good. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what changes they'll have in store for us, because I generally think that this game mode, it has promise. It does have a lot of promise. I really do like what they're doing with this game mode. It's a lot of fun. It's very interesting in its own way. It's got quality to it as well, in that, you know, we are able to you know, actually explore the dungeon. The music is actually surprisingly good, by the way. I will say that. I heard the music for the first time last night on stream, and I was like, oh, it's actually pretty nice, you know, in the sense. You know, finally that Elden Ring composer coming into play. That's a joke, by the way. Well, it's not really a joke. There is actually an Elden Ring composer playing, making music for this game. But anyways, my point being is that there is a lot of promise with this game mode, and I think there are some good qualities about this game mode. The way it actually represents, you know, how the dungeon is and stuff as well, with like the enemies and stuff, all that sort of stuff, I think is amazing. I genuinely love the fact that we are able to, you know, see how you know, how the AI works and stuff like that, all that sort of stuff, right? I think it's fantastic. I genuinely think it is amazing to be able to get a game mode that actually you know, replicates the exploration as well. I also think that the rewards are quite nice as well. I let it on auto right now. I think the rewards are generally quite nice as well, but I think some refinements definitely need to happen. I think there are some bugs as well. Like, for example, for some reason, Tiona breaks in later floors. Like, you can't see her, like, range anymore when you're using her ultimate or her skills or anything of that sort, which is kind of frustrating in a way, of course, right? Very, very minor issue, but still frustrating nonetheless. There can be some accessibility improvements as well, like the mini maps and stuff, right? Because not everybody has the time to actually actively play this, or the ability to, you know, play this game mode with, you know, knowing where the mazes are and everything and all that sort of stuff, right? People are different, right, at the end of the day, so having that would help a lot. Stamina consumption can be lower. Better rewards generally for harder difficulties, I think, in the future will be appreciated for sure. And obviously using our own team will make things go by faster. Maybe if they do plan on, you know, watching this video, you know, and I say like, okay, with an easier team it'll be easier, let it be easier. Don't add more waves than this. We're already going through a lot of waves here. I feel like you know, while I do appreciate that we do have like waves here and stuff, right? Sometimes they can be a little bit much as well. Like I know somebody yesterday said that they went through like one area gave them 17 waves of enemies, which is insane. That's a lot, right? That's a lot to be just stuck on one stage with, right? So maybe easing off that a little bit and, you know, focusing maybe on like the challenges with the boss fight, maybe, or like the debuffs and stuff will be a little bit better. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.